Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kira the doll, back for yet another video. As you guys can see, this video topic is going to be a little different than the usual. I just felt as though YouTube is very oversaturated at the moment, and we're very deeply in desperate need of a variety of topics and different ideas for our influence as in myself to talk about. So one big topic that has been touching the internet lately has been the topic of colorism. And not only colorism, but y'all already know these BBLs. These BBLs killing y'all. No, but literally. Or should I just be saying plastic surgeries in general?
That's why you won't never make it nowhere, sister. On top of that, I hate to break it to you. Let me not be insecure to you, sister. Let me not try to break it down to you. But have you understand I'm a light-skinned woman? So I benefit from colorism. You're a dark-skinned woman, sister. You can never make it to the heights I make it from. Oh, can we clock that one, or is it gonna hurt y'all feelings because it's me saying it? Can we be real for once and let's clock everything? Cause I'm a light-skinned woman and I say the same shit you say. You're not gonna make it to the heights I make it, bitch, cause you can't fuck with me. You're a dark-skinned woman. I want you to understand that. Don't come in my comments saying anything to me, ho. Cause I was supporting you because you was a black bum bitch like me. You was a black bum like me, just getting on TikTok just for the love of the game because I wanted to make a way for my kids. But now I see you just a black bum bitch that hate on hoes. See, one thing about me, when I was trying to make a way for my kids and get off the hood, I didn't get in nobody's live trying to down talk them, trying to be funny. See, I was actually making videos trying to get out the hood, and you see what I made. Listen, only to my dark skin supporters, I apologize humbly in the humblest of forms. I responded to a comment making fun of my abuse, and I went too low.
I decided that this was a great topic to touch bases on due to the fact that we see people every day struggling with insecurity of a skin tone that was probably implemented upon them by the same community of people that are trying to say that this doesn't exist, black people. So it's just a little insane that we can't fight for topics that actually matter within our community. But when it comes to, let's say, for example, a Puerto Rican saying the N word, now y'all all want to get mad. How about we address the issues that are within our community to begin with? Because how are we going to check other people outside of our community when we can't even check our own community? Make it make sense. So, in order to tackle an issue, the first step would be to acknowledge that the issue is there. And all right, so let's go back. Where did this start? Where did quote unquote light skin privilege start? Because I mentioned this in another video and people were so confused saying what is light skin privilege and etc. So here I am to explain to you what light skin privilege is. This is basically how colorism affects some of the brown community. But the thing is, colorism doesn't just affect the brown community, it also affects light people too. There are plenty of light people who will tell you their stories about how they were bullied for being light, or how black people didn't want to accept them because they were too light and they were too unique and they stood out. And so this is an issue all across the board, not just for dark people or light people. So that's why I don't understand when people try to ignore it and act like it doesn't exist when it literally affects all of us. So as far as the E. Kane situation, not only is the statement that a dark-skinned woman will not reach the heights to be a TikTok influencer incorrect, but it was just completely ignorant. Ignorant because being a lighter shade doesn't stop you. You can't tell me women of that complexion have never been profiled or followed around, let's say, a beauty supply or any type of store for that matter, a corner store, a gas station. You can't tell me you haven't been profiled. So at the end of the day, this is just stupid. Other people of other races, they don't care if you're lighter or if you're darker. Your skin tone is melanated enough for them to know you ain't white, baby. This all comes down to the fact that we live in a superficial society. And one thing that we have to worry about nowadays that past people in, the 90s, 80s or whatever didn't have to worry about is the amplification of the superficiality through social media. Because nowadays, it's way worse. We have the plastic surgeries, and that's going to be the next topic that we touch on. But a lot of people don't want to agree or admit this, but when we first meet someone, the first impression is everything. We judge people based off their culture, ethnicity, religion, or whatever it is, based solely on their appearance. But we judge them and we have a image in our mind of what we expect them to be like. This first impression a lot of times is presumed off of the appearance. With that being said, when we first look at people based on what we believe, we assume that this person is with and what they'll be like.
At one point, you had a single called Black Hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And to promote it, you put up a picture where it looked like your skin was bleached. But it was just all Photoshop, right?
Yes. Yeah.
People lost their minds, though.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the response when people thought that you actually did it? Because Vibes Cartel bleached his skin at one point.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like that
Right.
crazy to think that you would do it also, but you
Yeah.
did actually do it.
The reaction when it happened at the time, it was very hypocritical because, and that's why the song was called Black Hypocrisy. It was called Black Hypocrisy because there was a lot of hypocrisy that was happening in the Black community. And again, the reaction was that, how could she? How could she bleach her skin? Why would she do this? And why would she do this to herself? And why would she hate herself? And why this and why that? But it was coming from the same people from the Black community who said I should have bleached my skin. My Black people was saying I was too dark skinned. They don't understand how I have so much money and I'm not bleaching. I need to turn my thing up. I need to get with the flow. It was a conversation that needed to be had, that people need to always sweep it under the rug. I feel like colorism is real. I'm friends with a lot of Caucasians and I have a lot of Caucasian fans, but none of them have ever told me that I'm too Black. I know that it created an awareness for the
This
conversation.
leaves a lot of
that
people
wasn't having
misjudged,
in our
misplaced,
community.
misunderstood, and left out. This leaves people to fall to the industry pressures in hopes of fixing the many issues in themselves that they have come across. Colorism began with white supremacy, solidified through Jim Crow era, and also the Willie Lynch letter. If you haven't done your research on these two different things, as a Black person, it's it's about time that you do. These were two tactics put in place by the opposing party to that consisted of psychological implementations on our community to get us to fight each other so they never have to lift a finger. Well, not including the times that they just feel up to it. So not only are the body image topics glorified within the industry, but colorism is something that is very prominent within the industry as well. In the beginning, you've seen a lot of pictures of Ice Spice and Cleo Trapper, and that's a perfect example of a mediocre rapper who is of the more appealing to the Caucasian audience, and then your everyday round the way simple Black girl who is not as far as that other person, but she's extremely talented. Another example is Thames versus Tyler. Two incredibly talented artists. However, one with a Grammy who is fair toned, and one who is yet to be recognized, who is rich toned. Another very interesting thing about these two is the fact that they're both African artists. So one with obviously more Afro features and one with more Eurocentric features, which is also makes it very interesting. We have definitely had progression in representation and inclusion, but we can't pretend that this was a long time coming. Throughout the years on TV, Many shows, dark representation was almost surreal. It wasn't a thing. And not only that, but when there was dark representation, it was the stereotypical shenanigans. The darker woman rarely garnered roles as the desired female character in roles that painted black people in a good light. Only time on TV that a black woman was showed was in a ghetto role. Versus, it was rare for us to see that on TV growing up. And we can't even stop to forget to mention the video vixens. How often did you see a dark skinned woman in a music video in the 2000s? This was almost unheard of. As a matter of fact, a very controversial video was Pharrell, where he had a dark skinned woman in his video. It was just that controversial. It wouldn't be controversial if this was something done on normal. As a matter of fact, we're gonna see where the real 90s babies at with this question. Down to the toy industry. When you was a little kid, did you have many black Barbie dolls? What do that mean? If a child only got white baby dolls to play with, what is that going to mentally do to that child and that child's perception of what's acceptable socially or what's beautiful? Or even down to the fact that a paper bag test was done in sororities up to like the 50s, baby. I'm not sure if a lot of y'all have realized, but this is a new era of acceptance of dark skin representation in the 2020s, the 2010s. This is all new.
But there's nothing wrong with you, physically. You've got the kind of looks that make other girls mentally ill. So stop it.
Because I feel like skin color and surgeries are all in the same category, which is standards of beauty. And when it comes to this era of BBL culture and surgery, plastic surgery era, everyone loves to talk about the BBLs and the surgeries, but nobody likes to talk about the dangers. It's shocking to see as a society how far we have come to change our body type with trends is insane. But I honestly think change was the wrong word. I mean, surgically enhance ourselves to keep up with the trend is literally insane. Like, how far have we come and where are we going? Where are we going? It used to be trendy to wear certain headbands or pants or a shirt or a sweater. Now it's trendy to get surgery. Almost every celebrity has some type of surgery. If it's not a BBL, then they got rhinoplasty or all them different names. I don't know. I'm not one of those. I don't know it like that, but rhinoplasty, I knew that one. One of the most talked about cases is Little Kim, and hers goes back to colorism. I don't really recall Little Kim speaking on this as much, but I've actually seen a video of Foxy's Brown, who blew up in the same time period as Little Kim, talking about the struggles of being a dark skinned artist, which is so mind boggling to see the complexion of these women who have this beautiful sun kissed complexion that thinks something is bad and wrong with it. But the more I learn about human nature, the more I realize people only despise what they want but they can't have. The more I realize how this thing that is so repulsed is actually very secretly desired but barely admitted. So I learned to love my dark skin. Now, body positivity is another issue. I believe the first step, though, is recognition of the issue and acceptance and unconditional love for yourself no matter the mistakes you make. Many celebrities have succumbed to the pressures of being an influencer, or me being a YouTuber. I see how they feel. When you have people who feel so confident behind a phone screen to type the most horrific things they will never dare to say out loud their out their mouth face to face. You could try to hide it as much as you want, but we are all human and we have feelings. It sometimes becomes a lot when you hear negative things about yourself in a vulgar and bold manner so repeatedly. This sometimes causes people like Ekane to go off. And now I get it. I feel like the comment she made, it was the truth, and that's what made people come in such an uproar about it. But people behind these phones comments being any energy vampires and looking for joy to steal. The internet is taking away the sensitivity of things and also make people live unrealistic lives. Like, just think about the way that bigger people are treated in comparison to smaller people. Like Lizzo, people will repulse at someone who's heavier and then have such an admiration for smaller people. Then not only that, when a bigger person goes to get surgery, it's more frowned upon than when a small person goes to get surgery. Down to veneers, y'all. That's enhancing yourself. People are optimizing their health to slap a band-aid on major issues. Please, the veneers especially, y'all. That's dangerous. Once you think about comprehend the fact that your teeth is close to your brain, and your brain, if anything go wrong with your brain, it's over. That's checkmate, baby. So your teeth, you don't want to play with that. You want to go to the dentist. Then we also got like practices like goals plastic surgery. I've heard a lot of things about them. They botched quite a few people. I've heard a lot of things about them. Just search them up, y'all. Then let's say out of a crowd, you chose a random person. That person has a high or a pretty good probability of being insecure. Who's to say if that say person is given fame in the spotlight, they will almost always fall under pressure because with so many eyes on you and so many opinions on how you look, and you already living in this body and you already are a little bit of sensitive about different topics about yourself, and people are talking about that every single day and pointing it out and blah blah blah, you might fold if you got the money. Many artists succumb to the pressures and just succumb to the fear of being judged by the public, which sometimes leads these people to looking worse than what they started out with. And which is how we come up with people like Little Kims of the world. And I just want to put this out here to people to love yourself at the end of the day, because like I said, it's addicting. It's an addiction. So once you start enhancing yourself, you may not be able to stop. You may not. You never know. It only takes that one time to be addicted, so you never know what that thing is that you're going to keep going and going and going and going. Cause please don't be naive to think that Rolly is the only person in the world that got about a million surgeries back to back in 3 months. She's not. She's not. That's why they let her do it. Because people have been doing it. People will go under the knife every time they turn around. Every time, by the time you change your outfit, they getting on the BBL table again. Don't be green, baby. But anyways, I don't want to contradict myself because I said in the beginning Ekane's statement was incorrect, and then I said it's true. And it was incorrect but true. It was incorrect that we can't reach the heights that she reached, but it was true the fact about colorism. And what she said was, I'll basically, she has privileges that a darker woman wouldn't have, which is true because in this day and age, we still have racism. We still have people out there who are prejudiced. It still exists. Like, for example, the music industry. We have so much talent out there, but some people just don't have the image, quote unquote, image. So they're not being pushed.
You did? Really? What happened? So I had changed it 3 times really. Like the first time I went and got them, they was cute as then. I just started feeling like they were big. Like I was holding my mouth a certain way. Cause I already kind of talk with my mouth closed a little bit. So when I look at
Basically,
images,
what
I be
she
talking
just
and my teeth
said
look big. So I got them
was
shaved down. Then they
that
was still looking big. Like when I did
the
rolling it out, I was
comments,
holding.
the
It was a video of me
fans
somewhere. I
are
was
the
holding my mouth a certain way.
ones
I was holding my
who
mouth like my teeth too big. So by the
sometimes
time the
do
BT
put
Awards came,
stuff
I
in
went
your
to the dentist
head,
like a couple days before the BT Awards. I'm like,
even
I got
if
too
it's
many
the
cameras. I
truth,
got to set my
but
wood.
they're
My
the
teeth got to be
ones
cute.
who
And so I
will
had
bring
took
up
them off and put me and put it on.
insecurities
And like
or,
these fit perfect. I literally
you
shout out
know,
Dr.
just
Q.
call out your
From
bad
Memphis. Shout
angles
them out again. Yeah.
and make you recognize stuff that you never even realized about yourself, or you may have always known, and it could be your biggest insecurity.
Thing, even though, and at that time, I had never had surgery. I had ass shots, which till this day I realize actually what happened even was what I kept on being around Wayne and not consulting with that time to do something like that. How insane that was. Like, it's not that you go to a doctor, a professional person. No, it's some random person
Yeah, shorty in the Bronx.
comes in. I was in Atlanta
Queens.
at the time. Was around them all the time, and I was like sister. I was like the little sister with Wayne and Mac and all these boys, you know, J Mills and Gutta and all of them. And all I would hear them talking about is big butts.
Jokingly.
But to a young, I didn't feel girl complete or a good rapper or good as like that, as those girls. When it's from oh my God, someone like you know, this is matters, what you know, like so like even if they're joking, they don't know culture and I don't that like the that. Person that is there in that room with them is not finding it funny. They're thinking that. And this now that I'm older, I understand. Sometimes you'll say something in front of someone and you're thinking that they know that they're pretty, or they know that they're smart, or they know that they're talented or whatever. You're thinking that this is what this person thinks about themselves, you know? So you'll say certain things around them or to them. But a lot of times you don't know how insecure a person is or what their insecurities are. So when you say certain things, if around women especially, you can never take them back. You know what I'm saying?
And it's a very interesting topic that she brings up as far as standards of beauty in the rap industry or in the industry period today. We can name several artists who have not been pushed to the forefront, who have the talent, who have the artistry, but they just don't have the image. They just might be a dark skinned girl, or they just might have unfavorable features and may even be wanting to undergo a transformation so that they can be more deemed socially acceptable.
I was working in that environment. It was like it kind of made me want to do it. And
When
then
you felt the pressure?
yeah, but it's like I went and got surgery, and I'm like want to transition back to my natural body. Like
Oh, what now?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's going out of fashion?
Yeah.
Me,
I wish I could
me.
have like my A cups back, like so bad, but it's just
But why though?
because I miss little boobs. They be hurting your back and stuff.
What? But do you feel also that,
But
as in, because you're very influential,
true.
and I think that some with your success and how you look, I think a lot of young girls look at women like you and think, if I look like Dream, I'm gonna get the success of Dream. So do you ever feel not responsible? Do you ever feel like?
Well, I'm very open when it comes
Right.
to like my surgeries and how I feel about it. So I always give out, like, if somebody asks me, oh, how to remove this or do that, or any type of advice I could be towards somebody. But I say, if I would have knew what I knew now, I would have never done it.
And that's why I think it's important for you to say.
And then we have people like, for example, Beyonce, and I may ruffle a few feathers here, but don't be alarmed. But as far as Beyonce, I feel as though her look is very broadly accepted. I feel as though Beyonce's physical appearance played a huge factor in getting her to where she is today. And what do we see throughout this clip? We see the blondes and those different things that are acceptable to a more Eurocentric audience, which is the vast majority across the world. So not just her appearance, but also her body type. Because then we have people like the Raven Simones of the world, who a lot of the 90s babies seen as someone who we could look up to, who seemed like somebody who had it all together. But this woman had to go through the despicable to get to the point that she did.
2 breast reductions in lipo before I turned 18. Did you know that?
Oh,
I know you knew that.
Just what? What? Should I act more surprised? Oh my God, what?
There was paperwork involved. My dad suggested strongly that I should get my breast reduced.
My breast reduced. Say that 10 times fast.
I know, right? And he was like, so you don't feel bad? Is there anything you want? And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, if I get lipo, will people stop calling me fat? And so I got a twofer. And that first one that I had, I actually had a seizure when I woke up from the surgery. And I remember waking up and seeing everything, and I was like, nah. And then I just started to have this dry mouth and couldn't breathe. And then I went back under, and they were like, oh yeah, you had a seizure. Thanks for telling me.
Y'all don't understand how much it hurt my heart to hear that she had to go through that to be who we all idolized and looked up to be who we all wanted to be. We all loved Raven. It's almost an idea of perfectionism, which is unnatural. No one is perfect. God makes things perfect to his touch, So who's to say that something is or is not perfect the way that it is? Divinely so. And a big part of colorism I wanted to touch on was kind of the light skin, dark skin wars or rhetoric, whatever you want to label this as. But I feel as though it's time for it to come to an end. It's time for it to come to an end because why do we have to point out every little difference in ourselves as if we're not all uniquely made? Because if you really want to talk about where this idea comes from, it comes from white supremacy, and it originates in slave times where lighter women were brought in the house, darker women had to be in the fields, and this was started this back and forth because it was said that the lighter woman in the house had it easier. However, these women in the house were closer to these predatory men, and they undergone their own set of problems. So this comes down to today, how we always want what we can't have. We always look at what someone else has and want what they have, but you don't know what they had to go through either. And that's the dangers with social media nowadays, is the fact that a lot of people are wishing for things, but they don't know what they're truly wishing for, because they're just seeing a picture and running with it and assuming that they know based off of a picture. But the picture only going to show you the good. It ain't going to show you the bad. So you got to be very discerning in making those choices of assuming from the book's cover what's going to be in that book. You don't know till you open it up and read it.
Have you gone for beauty?
I would say, I mean, I wouldn't do anything that's going to like jeopardize my health, but I try a lot of things even when they're brand new. Like, I'll just try it. So I put a lot of time and work and money into how I look.
When it comes to cosmetic procedures, how far have you gone with cosmetic procedures?
I've done pretty much everything, what, plastic surgery to, gosh, things like old therapy, which is like expensive on your face, where they basically burn your skin. And I'm now partnered with Goals Plastic Surgery, so I've been doing M-Sculpt, and what's new is wood therapy. So I just heard of wood therapy, and when somebody says something, I'll look it up, and I'm like,
we can never deny the facts. These are successful people, and believe it or not, but your image is always going to have an influence on your success. In this day and age that we live in, which is quick fix, microwave society, a lot of people are taking that quick route because a lot of these results can be accomplished by getting in the gym. Simple things. But instead, when you have the means, there are some things you would rather not or rather do. This world can be a very cruel place. And this is what leads people to go as far as surgically enhancing themselves due to judgment. Like, we can always say that people are doing it for themselves, but at the end of the day, we only see ourselves in the mirror. So you're doing it for yourself. Yeah, you're doing it for how people are going to treat you based off of your attractiveness, their likeness to you, etc. But the problem comes into play when people don't know when to stop and they go too far. Like Cardi B. I don't know if you guys seen her lately, but I have pictures coming of her as well. But all in all, I feel like social media has opened the door for what we call internet trolls, but which are obnoxious people. If you want to call them bullies, we can call them bullies. People with these thumbs behind these phones, I tell you, they some of the most confident people on the earth. This is some of the people that I done seen the most audacity from. Is the people on the internet. They be saying the most ruthless things. And what I got to say about that is stop bullying. Stop messing with people. And not only that, but if you're a person who don't want to argue, don't argue with them. When people come in my comments tagging me, getting smart, I ignore them. Like, I'm not about to argue with somebody. I don't play that. You're not coming over here and bullying. People be coming on my channel thinking they finna bully me. Now they gotta figure out how they can't find my page no more. I'm not fighting nobody over opinion through no phone screen. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. It was never that serious. Lastly, I really do feel like bullying is a huge problem that needs to stop, and just the shallowness of people. Because right now on the internet, what you see, the main people that are going viral and becoming famous right now on social media are the disabled, the people who have something obviously wrong. It's like the internet is just becoming breeding grounds for elementary school all over again. Like, for example, Miss Netta and Charles. Whenever I would be in there live, I would see the plethora of comments basically tearing Netta down. And I understand, I know we're gonna have the people that say, well, Netta does this and he's so mean and nasty, and but the thing about it, why you watching them? What I always was taught is that if somebody bothering you, somebody doing something you don't like, all of them things in that boat, get the hell away from them. Get away from them. Instead, y'all go to their live to talk smack. I feel like just because a person is bad person or whatever you perceive to be worthy of ignorance, it still doesn't make them worthy of. It still doesn't make it right for you to tear them down. I don't care what nobody says. I don't feel like it's right. Shift your energy elsewhere, because at that point, once you're trying to tear them down, you just as worse as Netta. You just as worse as him, whatever. Just don't be hypocritical in the things that you say and do. But overall, back to the topic of body image and the pressures of the industry, the BBL trends. I feel like the hugest problem with it all is that we are taking away the human attributes of a woman. We're objectifying. That's the right word. We're objectifying a woman. This is sexualization, and just like it's very it stems from a predatory place. It stems from a predatory place. It stems from a predatory place, and we're normalizing it. I literally feel like the surgical enhancements and just image of the industry, the ideal image, which you're supposed to look like, this is an addition to colorism. It's an addition because I mean, back in the day, it still was a body. It was similar, but the surgical enhancements are new age, you know. But it was definitely ideal body image back in the days, slim or whatever. But nowadays, we're taking it too far, and when's enough going to be enough? And you can't forget to mention the fact that this is all literally a trend. People are reversing their surgeries, people are regretting their decisions, and they have millions of people following after them. So, before you succumb to the pressures, you look at these pictures of these women, their before and afters, and you can tell me if you've seen anything wrong in the before. Because I don't see anything wrong. They're divinely made, beautiful, black, talented, the true beauty standard. Those who have what is secretly deeply admired but rarely admitted, You will always think something's wrong. So the true issue is external validation. Validation comes from within. Learn to love yourself. Learn to value your opinion, your validation. Because something that I keep with me day to day, interacting with people, yeah, people have their opinions, and I respect that. I respect everybody's opinion. I understand that there's no way in hell that me and another person will just have never bump heads and never disagree on anything. So I respect that. I respect people for who they are because I want people to respect me for who I am. So at the end of the day, another person's opinion can be different from yours. You don't know their values. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know why they're saying what they're saying. And you're going to run with their opinion. I take lightly to people's opinions. I really do. Because unless it's positive, reconstructive criticism, then it's not helping me. And I don't care. You can say whatever. I really don't care because for one, I look at it as an opportunity to see you for who you are. And I appreciate that. Thank you for showing me that you're an asshole. See you later. Like, thank you. I appreciate you for revealing, taking that mask off, showing me, because you've been acting all this time. Thank you for letting me see the real you. Because I got to get about my way. Because I don't be around this type of mixy stuff usually on a normal day. I don't. An opinion is called an opinion for a reason. It's not factual. So with that being said, that's all I got for y'all. I really appreciate y'all for watching this. I got a few more visuals for y'all to see. And most importantly, I just want to say to my dolls, love yourself. Your opinion is the only opinion that matters. Your opinion is the only opinion that you gotta be around at the end of the night when you're going to sleep. So learn internal validation, because honestly, a lot of women, this is honestly the patriarchy. Women seek external validation when men seek external validation from us. So it's like we both got to learn to validate ourselves so that we can be more powerful. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for watching. Leave y'all opinions down in the comments. Let me know any video topics y'all might want to see. But that's it for now. I'll see y'all next time. See you guys. Bye.